like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right, let's dive into one of the most exciting games of this college football season. The Orange Bowl, Notre Dame versus Penn State. Playoff semifinal, huge implications, a chance to compete for the national championship. Two incredible teams, just an absolute nail-biter of a game.
And the historical significance of this matchup is just, it really adds another layer of excitement, right? These are two of the most storied programs in college football history. So to see them clash on this kind of stage, with so much on the line, it was really special.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We're talking about legacies here. And speaking of special, how about that ending? Mitch Jeter with the game-winning field goal, 41 yards, just 8 seconds left on the clock. Talk about pressure.
It's the kind of pressure most people can't even imagine. And, Jeter just stayed so cool, so composed in that moment. Really incredible. But let's not forget what got them to that point. Christian Gray's interception, that was a game changer.
Totally. But even before that incredible defensive play, Notre Dame's quarterback, Riley Leonard, he's named the Orange Bowl MVP, but he had to earn it. Remember that hit he took in the second quarter? It was like, oh no, is he going to be all right? It looked bad.
Yeah, I think everyone watching had their breath when he went down. The possibility of a concussion, it's scary. But to see him come back in the second half, play through the pain, and lead his team to victory, that's just pure grit and determination right there.
It's incredible. But Penn State definitely didn't make it easy for him. Nick Singleton, their running back, he had an amazing game. 3 touchdowns. He was like a one-man wrecking crew.
Singleton was a force to be reckoned with, for sure. His power and agility were just impressive. But it wasn't just him. Drew Allar, Penn State's quarterback, he also had a really strong game. Some fantastic throws. Kept Notre Dame's defense on their toes the whole time. Obviously, that late interception was tough. But, that's football for you. One play can change everything.
It's true. One play can make all the difference. Speaking of game-changing plays, this game was full of them. What would you say were some of the other key moments, the ones that really got the crowd going?
Oh, man, there are so many. Jaden Greathouse's 54-yard touchdown reception was huge. It seemed like it sparked Notre Dame's offense, really ignited their comeback. And then Singleton's touchdown runs, just pure power on display. And the defensive battles throughout the game, both teams had some incredible stops.
Yeah, it was back and forth, a real chess match. But you know me, I love those little details, the things that give you a glimpse behind the scenes, the human element of the game. Anything stand out to you in that regard?
Well, this is interesting. Penn State's linebacker, Abdul Carter, played the entire game with a heavily wrapped arm. He had an injury from their previous game, and get this, he even had Darth Vader written on his eye, black.
Whoa, no way. Talk about playing with an edge. What else?
Yeah.
Anything else catch your attention?
Well, did you hear about Notre Dame dealing with a flu outbreak in their locker room? Imagine trying to prepare for a game of this magnitude with a flu going around, and then you have Jeremiah Love, Notre Dame's running back, playing the whole game with a knee brace. These athletes are tough.
Wow, that's insane. And all of this under the Miami sunshine. Beautiful weather. Must have been an incredible atmosphere.
Absolutely perfect football weather. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows for these teams, They had to overcome some real challenges. It makes you think, how important is mental toughness in high-pressure situations, not just in sports, but in life?
Yeah, you really have to admire that level of mental fortitude, right? It's inspiring. But let's dig into some of those details you mentioned from the articles. I'm sure there's some interesting stuff in there.
There is. For example, did you notice the difference in rushing yards in the first half?
Oh, I didn't catch that. What was it?
Well, Penn State averaged 5.4 yards per rush, while Notre Dame only managed 1.2. Big difference, right?
Wow. Yeah, that is a big difference. So what were Penn State's lines just dominating?
Yeah, seems like it. The offensive and defensive lines, the trenches as they call them, were really controlling the line of scrimmage early on, but then things shifted, and that's what's so fascinating about this game.
So how did Notre Dame turn things around?
Yeah.
Because obviously they did. They won the game.
Well, Notre Dame's defense definitely stepped it up in the second half. They started putting more pressure on Arar, forcing Penn State to punt on a few drives. And offensively, Leonard started connecting on those deeper passes, which opened up the field.
Makes sense. You mentioned earlier that Leonard threw 2 interceptions. What happened there?
His first interception, the one early in the game, looked like an overthrow. He was under pressure from Carter, with the Darth Vader eye black, so maybe that affected his accuracy.
Right.
But his second interception, that was in the third quarter, and that was That was a turning point.
How so?
Well, it gave Penn State excellent field position, and they took advantage of it, scoring a touchdown and extending their lead.
Oh, man. So that must have been a tense moment for Notre Dame fans.
It was. But, Notre Dame didn't give up. They came right back with a touchdown of their own, tied the game up. It was really a back-and-forth battle.
Yeah, you mentioned that before. The momentum swings.
Yeah.
It sounds like it was a wild ride for the fans.
Definitely. And speaking of wild, let's talk about Jeter's game-winning field goal. One article I read called it a, quote, manageable 41-yard field goal, but I don't know about that.
Yeah, manageable might be an understatement. Can you imagine the pressure he was under?
Oh, it's almost unimaginable. The entire season riding on that one kick, millions of people watching, but he nailed it.
So impressive. Did you find any other interesting tidbits in the articles? Like behind-the-scenes stories, fan reactions, anything like that?
Well, one article had this stunning photo of the stadium just before kickoff. It was like bathed in this golden light from the setting sun. Beautiful. And there were a few things about the challenges both teams faced before the game. Apparently, there were rumors of some Penn State players being sick, but nothing confirmed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and remember we talked about Notre Dame dealing with the flu? Well, apparently it was mostly the non-starting players who were affected.
Interesting. So to perform at that level with all that going on, pretty amazing.
Absolutely. And, we can't forget the role of the coaches and trainers. They play such a crucial part in getting these athletes ready for a game like this.
It's a real team effort. But if you had to pick one, what would you say was the biggest factor in Notre Dame's victory?
That's a tough question to answer. There were so many moving pieces, But if I had to pick just one defining factor, I'd have to say it was Notre Dame's ability to adapt, overcome those challenges. I mean, they were up against a really tough Penn State team, a team that kind of dominated the game early on, and they dealt with injuries. We saw that potential concussion scare with Leonard, and then the flu bug going around. I mean, they just never gave up.
Yeah. It's that never give up attitude that really stands out, doesn't it?
It does. They adjusted their game plan when they needed to. They rallied behind their leader, Leonard. And in the end, they made those big plays when it mattered most.
Absolutely. And we saw that throughout the game. Leonard pushing through the pain, the defense stepping up big in the second half, Jeter making that last-second field goal. It really shows you what mental toughness can do. It's not just about talent. It's about rising to the occasion, performing under pressure.
Exactly. And that's what makes this game, and really any sport, so compelling, right? It's like a reflection of life itself. We all face setbacks. We all have those moments where we're tested, where things get tough.
Yeah, that's a great point.
But it's those who can dig deep, stay focused, find a way to push through. Those are the ones who ultimately succeed.
That's a powerful takeaway. Yeah. We've really gone beyond just the game itself, haven't we?
I think so. We've looked at the individual performances, the big moments, the challenges behind the scenes. It gives you a whole new appreciation for what these athletes go through.
It does. It was an incredible game, full of twists and turns, amazing athleticism, and just a ton of heart. And, it really highlights the fact that sometimes the most compelling stories aren't about who wins or loses.
Right.
They're about the journey, the struggle, that unwavering spirit that pushes us to be our best.
Well said. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
Sounds good to me.
But before we go, I want to leave you with one last thought. We've talked about mental toughness, resilience, adapting to challenges. But what about the role of luck? Was there an element of luck involved in Notre Dame's victory? Or was this a win purely earned through skill, strategy, and sheer determination? Something to think about.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have the ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a puppy dog. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till